What's up, world? I am the Swamee, and this is going to be, I guess, part two for my reaction to Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 6, the series finale. There's some things I wanted to say, but didn't have time to say. I try to keep things as compact as possible, put it in a nice box for you guys to take home and enjoy when you want to on these YouTube videos. And I found myself going off into other tangents in the last video, so I kind of had to stop, and we're going to try to clean things up a little bit for this particular episode of Swamee Says. So, before I get to it, though, remember, comment below if you would like. Subscribe, definitely. Let me know what you think. I'm also working on some technical upgrades to make things a little bit more presentable. So, hopefully we can get that going, too, in the near future. So look out for that as well. We've definitely got big things planned. Back to Game of Thrones, the series finale, the kamikaze episode. Why do I call it that? Because there's no way a series finale can please everybody, especially the diehard fans. A lot of people have things to say about the episode. They have their problems, their issues. Everybody's going to have that, especially when you have a series that's gone on for so long, has so many character developments and layers to it, and has engendered so much loyalty for any particular or a plethora of characters, not just the main character, but a bunch of other ones as well. That's going to make people want to see things go their way. And when things don't go their way, they have a problem. I think that's kind of what's happening now for a lot of the response to the show. Does that totally absolve the show? Am I saying that this particular episode was amazing, spectacular, or even necessarily good? No. But the Swamee's looking at this on a curve, which is where you have to grade series finales. It's not so much how well did they do, but how less did they mess up. I know that grammar didn't quite work, but we're going to run with it anyway. If you break it down, you probably have a lot of complaints, but let's look at it from the sense of the characters. How did they wrap the stories up? How did they put that bow around everybody? And if you break it down, kind of character by character, it's not as bad as you would think. It did leave a bad taste in the mouth, I will admit that, but for reasons that I don't think a lot of people are really kind of paying attention to. And they're pointing at something else. But if you look at the characters, for example, let's take Arya. Did they get her wrong? The way she ended up, her decision at the end? By the way, there will be spoilers in this, so let me just make that disclaimer as well, too. If you think there's going to be no spoilers on the series finale reaction to Game of Thrones, that's wishful thinking. Back to Arya. She says, I'm a nomad. I'm an adventurer. I have to wander and see what's at the frontier, see what's over on the unknown side, because that's what I do. That's what my calling is. It's a little too stale here. She's the youngest one out of the bunch. The widest eyes. So that makes sense. Was that the wrong move, the wrong play for her? Does that violate her personality? I don't think so. So that's a check. Sansa ends up on her own throne as the new Queen of Winterfell. What's wrong with that? Did she not deserve that? After having gone what she went through throughout the course of the show? So that's a check. You can't blame that decision. In fact, if you want to look at those two, the Stark women, or soon-to-be women, in that case of Arya, they're the real sheroes of the series. The real feminine heroes. When you look at their story from how they began, what they did to pull themselves up by the bra straps. Sorry, I had to do it. Their ability to change their fortune, to be put in a situation nobody, male or female, would want to be put in, but yet to rise above all of that through their own sheer will. That's worth something. That says something about their characters. Swamee salute to Arya. Swamee salute to Sansa. Characters that any woman can be proud of, can strive to be, can pattern themselves after, and even that men can respect and find a way to relate to. they're the real sheroes of this particular franchise. Not the one that everybody wanted to be. Not the character that everybody wanted to end up with sitting on the throne, the last one standing triumphant. The Wonder Woman character. Daenerys, the Queen of Dragons. The Mother of Dragons, sorry. The Khaleesi. We wanted her to be the one. But that's not who she is. She's not Wonder Woman. She's Darth Vader. And you're mad now because the woman you wanted to be Wonder Woman actually turned out to be Anakin Skywalker. Darth Vader. Did you notice the black outfit for this last episode? She's the fallen hero. She's the person with all the talent, all the drive, the instinct, but couldn't get her out of her own way. Tripped up over herself and her own insecurities, flaws. How many of us can relate to that? That is a powerful archetype. The one who shoots themselves in the foot, who sacrifices their own destiny because of a personal flaw. She desired that throne so much she became blinded by it. And that opened the door for that white hair, that family heritage, lineage, bloodline to consume her, to take over and turn her into a Sith for all intents and purposes. And that's what you had. A grotesque, if I may borrow a Winesburg, Ohio term. And that's what happened. She was eaten up from the inside by her thirst for power, her belief in her ego drove her over the edge. Jump-started by the treatment she got from all of the people in the North. But what was that treatment? What she felt was beneath what she should have gotten. There's the ego again. So I had no problem with the decision they made with the character of Daenerys. But the execution was horrible. Nonetheless, that having all been said, the two characters that people are really following, the two main characters are Daenerys and Jon. You can't mess them up. Both in terms of the decisions you make and then how you go about doing it. People wanted to see her sit on the throne, and she should have gotten that moment. She didn't get that moment. She got close. She put her hand on it. But then Jon walks in. And that changes everything. Because Jon Snow got convinced in about 42 seconds from Tywin that he's supposed to go up there and kill her. For the betterment of the people. And for all the time that he's known her, he's been saying, "That's my queen, I'll never do that." And in about 20 seconds from hearing Tyrion talk, I never get that name right. He goes, "Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm going to go kill her." What? That's indicative of the problem with this last season. That's a problem indicative of the problem you have when you change writers midstream, or not midstream, at any point. You lose the story continuum, especially when writers feel they have a right to now do things their way. I see you, Ryan Johnson. So that's what you had. You had a situation this last season where the characters felt very, very different from where they were before. And that had nothing to do with the decision, but instead the execution. All of these violent changes in the characters, progression, development, that happened in the last 2 episodes, basically. That's too much, too late. You can't shock the audience with all of those changes in the last 10 minutes before the credits run. And then have a resolution that people are ready to palate. Don't work that way. And that's why you get all the uproar. But the uproar that people had was spotlighting the wrong thing. It wasn't the decisions they made. Again, it was the execution. What would the Swamee have done? For Daenerys, the confrontation in the throne room and King's Landing with the Iron Throne between her and Cersei. That's the main event. That's what we've been waiting for. Cersei flies up with the dragon, meets Cersei, who's waiting for her on the throne, perched with that look on her face, that smirk, and they have a little 2-minute banter between each other. They exchange pleasantries and respect. You're a woman that came from nothing, and through your own force and sheer will, you ascended to a throne. I respect you for that. But now there's only one throne, and only one of us can be here. And I'm not giving it up. So what you gonna do? Well, I'm not giving it up either. What you gonna do? And then the fight happens. The ultimate cat fight. Through some force of action, Cersei leaves herself open, provides an opening for Daenerys. Daenerys takes advantage, kills her, sticks her, snaps her fingers, the dragon burns her, something. And then pushes her limp carcass off the throne, a la James Earl Jones in 1982, Conan the Barbarian. Down the stairs. Then you have the big close-up of Daenerys finally sitting on the throne. You do a nice little pan out. Tell me that's not dope. Jon Snow. Jon Snow was the character, the hero that doesn't fall. He's not the fallen hero. He's the one you want to see win. He's the like Batman. You don't want to watch Batman and then see Batman somehow die 2 minutes before the credit rolls up. Superman doesn't save the planet and then you roll credits. How are you going to turn Jon into a felon? And yet he's kind of okay with it too. And then you ship him off to Siberia. What? Instead, when you're voting on the new king, this is what the Swamee would have done. You have all of them vote for Jon. They all wanted to anyway. Jon, you should be the king. And if you don't like it, Mr. Unsullied, tough, then at the coronation, Jon says, you know what? I don't accept the crown. I'm not a king. Y'all figure it out. I'm going back to the one place that gave me happiness, where I was my own man. I found my true love. I'm going up north back to the wildlings to be a wildling again, because that's who I really am. But if you need me, call me. I'll be there. And he walks off on his own power, with his own choice as a wildling. That's how you end. Those little things, I think, would have made the show better. Nonetheless, you have the great things on a curve. But those misfires, I can't ignore. So I gotta give it 2 out of 5 Swamee stars. But my problems were not necessarily the problems that I'm hearing from everybody else. They're problems that you need to look at because those are problems that can be repeated. I pray that they aren't. I pray for the sake of a galaxy far, far away that they aren't. Hopefully they're remedied. Hopefully they're rectified so that we can enjoy future incarnations, because you know Game of Thrones is going to continue. So there you have it. That's the lay of the land from the Swamee. That being said, the Swamee has spoken.